I tuned in. I'm not sure what's happening, but I tuned in late. Speaker's doing his thing 3 minutes in. Oh, on my birthday, too? Yeah, see, on my birthday, I'd rather... What would I do? What I just did? What was that again? Let me enact swift justice. Oh, what is that? Restorative justice? Sounds like restorative justice. Yeah. Restorative justice sounds proper. Has more weight. Because quick justice is bullshit. Quick justice is not justice. So for the collective population, for all of humanity, yes, have faith that our federal prosecutors that have already tried other warlords for war crimes, justice is coming. And thank the men and women of the FBI every single day for laying their lives on the line to protect our nation from white nationalist U.S. domestic terrorist cells. Their work is a valiant effort and stalwart defense of our democracy. Let me just sip on this real quick. Also, to repeat what I said before last week, checkmate to Russia is just, like I said, it was like 27,000 mercenaries marching to Moscow. Every single Russian soldier laid down their arms. Putin got into a helicopter and flew away because he isn't the person the dude people think he is. Because already in Russia, news came out last week that multiple states are already breaking away from their main Russian government. So if there's ever a kind of a resounding cheer across Russia and the Slavic nations, now is the time to basically celebrate. Literally, the other eastern half of Russia and the middle of Russia, like Russia right now, politically, shit's already moving, and they're already split into 3 countries. The far east of Russia is already breaking off into their own republic. The central part of Russia is breaking into their own republic, and then the western part is just like basically everyone that's aligned to Putin. And the reason it started happening like a few months back in 2023 is that they started hoarding ammunition. So other generals are trying to speak to other generals in Russia, and they were like, "Hey, we need ammo and supplies. We're like running low over here." And they were like, "Nah, bro, we're not sending any." Those were the first signs of the other warlords in Russia hoarding their ammo supplies. And first, Pyogzin, this mercenary with this mercenary group, the Wagner group, was on the front lines, and they were like, "Hey, this other general, hey, give us supplies. We're attacking Ukraine." And this other general was like, "We can't give you any. We don't have any." Doing the exact same thing. They started hoarding their supplies. They started consolidating their power. So Russia right now, even for the past couple months, behind the scenes, is just a giant mafia state committing mafia war against each other, and basically an eternal strife and conflict, civil war, gathering power is already emerging. See, at first, we thought the reports were Ukrainian special forces and their kind of terrorist attacks and resistance forces inside, and we started connecting the dots that there were warlords essentially assassinating other warlords and their posse and consolidating power. And so at first we were like, damn, Ukrainian special forces got really deep. Or damn, there's some Russian resistance going back. And then we started digging deeper and we're like, wait, hold the fuck up. These aren't Russian resistance. These aren't Ukrainians. It's just Russians' internal fighting. And so we were like, oh shit. And then we started seeing the reports of consolidating ammo and not moving ammo. So already the hoarding of power of like guns, manpower, and persons, they're already splintered and fractured. Because the moment they saw Putin realized that all of Russia laid down their weapons and didn't fight, and there was 27,000 mercenaries marching to Moscow, he got in a helicopter and flew away. All his other generals saw that and reacted to that. And they realized he's not the dude. He's not the man anymore. He's not him. They realize seeing Putin, he's not him anymore. So now they're consolidating power because they realize any one of those top hats that's a warlord in Russia, that either the general has money or power, is like, oh shit, I can now get a ton more. I can now become tens of billions of more money. If you take control of the Russian government, that's like a like if they're all gangster warlords, they know Putin's time is up. That's why Putin kept trying to create a private force of like 1 million people that have like the orange and black stripes on them. He's so paranoid, he needs all of them to have orange and black stripes on their arms around him. So he's like, okay, these are my people. That's how paranoid he is. And all these other warlord generals in Russia are already consolidating their power. Closing ranks. Because check this out. It wasn't on top of the fact that they were sending a draft and Russia's lost 300,000 personnel. It wasn't that the fact that they were just sending a draft and they had like 3 drafts and they had 300,000 young Russian men die. It was because their main force was never truly there. You know, when the 250,000 Russian men fled the country, guess what percentage of that was actually their military? That's what people like don't understand. Or they forgot. See, at first it wasn't they needed to replenish what they had because they had lost troops. No, it's because the 250,000 Russian men that fled the country was a huge chunk of their military. That's what everybody fucking missed in the fiasco of this giant Russian invasion of Ukraine. And we're glad our Ukrainian brothers and sisters are fighting for democracy and liberate their country. But that's what like everybody fucking missed. That when the 250,000 Russian men fled and they had to start doing drafts, it was because the shit ton of their fucking military, the tens of thousands, just bounced the fuck out. Because they didn't want to die for Putin. So then the sad part is you do a draft and you get a whole bunch of young dudes that are brainwashed and they went right into the meat grinder and they died. So at first it's like really the only way, you know, to start, well, the checkmate for Ukraine to Russia, I said this last week, is look, Putin fled at 27,000 troops marching at his capital. All his people, the Russian military, laid down their weapons. He got a helicopter and flew away. Ukraine has over 750,000 men and women. You literally can split your army in half. You can take 300,000 to hold the line, and you take 300,000 and you march towards the capital of Moscow. And you just checkmate Russia. Because no one's going to fight and die for Putin. His own military laid down their weapons when they saw 27,000 mercs roll up. Because I bet the weakest of his troops are around Moscow. You see what I'm saying? Like all of the rich kids that are in uniforms are like sitting there guarding the capital. They're like the weakest group. They don't work out. They're silver spoon Russian kids that are Moscowan. I guarantee you. Oh, what was that again? The 100% win rate and 140k and I don't fucking miss. Yeah. And you want the final checkmate, you know, onto Russia. You send in Ukrainian special forces, crack units, and you free the real Russian president who's sitting in a prison in Siberia. Putin is so scared of killing the real Russian president that it would enact and create the reverberance, the force to which a revolution would spark. People didn't connect the dots. Vladimir Putin has not killed his opponent that he lost against for the Russian presidency. He threw him in prison. He's so scared of him. If he kills him, he knows that the vast majority of the people love him and they don't love him. The vast majority of Russians love their real president who's stuck in prison, representing democracy. And they know the moment Putin lays hands on him, it's game over. I guarantee you that's the spark that'll create a Russian revolution. That'll topple his government. And check this out. Ukrainian Special Forces. All they got to do is start breaking down Russian prisons. Ukrainian Special Forces, all they got to start doing is creating some holes in some Russian prisons and releasing their prisoners. And they'll enact revenge on Russia for you. But what you probably do is just recruit them into the Ukrainian military. Is the more honorable, smarter way to do it. You take Russian prisoners, you free them, you recruit them into Ukrainian Special Forces, Ukrainian military, and then they'll build a sizable force that can build to be a spearhead to go for a complete surround of Putin, like a checkmate fashion. What you would do is you would like destroy and liberate Russian prisons, and you basically tell the Russians, hey, you can run around your country and hide, or you can come to Ukraine and we'll train you and we'll come back and get revenge. Oh, what was it again? Putin already put how many pro-Russians are in prison in Russia, real quick? How many pro-democracy Russians are in prison right now? Now, what Russia did when they released 100,000 prison inmates to go fight in Ukraine, they didn't have a choice. They went right into the meat grinder, where there are already reports of their commissars shooting and killing prisoners in the back of the head. They refused to fight. Oh, I should say. Oh, okay. I guess I should put jail, because they probably don't go right to prison. Probably in confinement. Oh, he's not just critic. He's the rightful president of Russia, Alexei Navalny. I know that in December 2023, just a few weeks ago, or last month, I understand Alexei Navalny did state, sure, don't worry about me, as he goes to the prison. That's just his humble way of saying, he stood up for democracy, fought democracy, now he's in prison for 19 years. He's done no crime. Putin's just in prison for 19 years because he knows he's going to lose against them. That's why. He is the real Russian president. Old faded that far. Right. Oh, of course you can be Russian.
Wow, this is new.
Yeah, switched to H&R Block. Doing my own taxes like a champ.
2006.
Live with real expert.
Oh, why can't I skip this? Why can't I? It's a 15-second ad? Terrible titles. No, H&R Block? No. Wait, what? Was H&R Block making for? Oh.
August 19th, 2020, Russian politician Alexei Navalny was shooting this campaign video. He was in Siberia.
No. 2006, Lord named Alexei Navalny started a blog where he wrote about the corruption in his own home of country of Russia. It's the most prominent problem under the regime of Vladimir Putin has ruled since 2000. So it's been 24 years of Putin in power. Putin has systematically taken over the country's independent media, oligarchy, billionaires, the election systems, the laws, spending his own power and wielding corruption to his advantage. That's when Navalny started to expose, and in 2010 he published a groundbreaking investigation into state-owned transportation company, Transneft, which was funneling state money into the hands of its executives. Damn, what does that sound like? U.S. lobbying? Oh, okay. Post launched Navalny into politics. By 2016, he had become the face of Russia's opposition movement, run for mayor, and was running for president against Putin himself. Navalny was unifying Russia's opposition like no politician had before. That's why the Kremlin tried to kill him. Navalny survived an assassination attempt and launched a movement never before seen in Russia. So, Putin's a smart guy. He realized that when he tried to kill him, he made them more famous, he gained millions of more pro-democracy forces in Russia, and it had...
one of the many places where in about 3 weeks there would be local and regional elections. But he was...
Oh, here we go. Perfect picture of the three parts of Russia. People don't understand. There are smaller villages out here. Yes, there are smaller villages out here, but these are the main central focus points. So like here, governor, regional parliament. There's a reason the governor sits here in the regional parliament. They wanted to make sure there's a wall, and then a wall and a wall. They saw a fortress. Look at the governor. He built his own fortress. He's like I could block off this right here. I could have boats patrol here. Complete billionaire safe haven corruption. And then the regional parliament is the peoples, where the people live. All the farm towns, farm cities, the shipyards. Oh, the region lives like it's probably some major river right here, right, that flows through it, and that's where the peoples live up in the across the valleys in here. And the governor probably is built like each 30-mile radius is already giving us incredible intel into their country and its operations and statistics and logistics and missile silos and control. So a 30-mile radius, 30-mile radius, 30-mile radius, 30-mile radius. There could be people out here, or this could be these regional warlords. Like I said, here's the other third or 1/3, the middle, and then kind of the eastern half. And it could be these two are together, which means it's like this. And the reason it's like that is because they built it like this. So the regional government's here. The governor probably has an estate, but the governor of this middle region probably has his own private military, his own stockpile of nuclear warheads, his own military bases, hidden ones, caches, and the rest of the people see here. Because why do you do that? To build more walls, to build more walls, to build more fences, to build more sensors. So like right here, this regional governor, the group of billionaires, millionaires, designed this region to close themselves off from their people in case the people will revolt. Because then they can form their own. What is it? They can form their own government and have all the resources. They're going to have the military. These governors right here are billionaires and millionaires. And then you can see it? They're going to have their own military boats, their own supply systems, underground bases, above bases. But the vast majority of their population lives here in the regional parliament. Easily. Super digestible information. And democratized intel for you. Like this governor, what we already know is that Putin, you can Google this, super easy. Putin does not have control of all these regionals. So these red parts are the governors. So you have 1, 2, looks like one over here too. You can't see it, it's really low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Are there just 11 governors for Russia? Probably. And if people are probably like, the 11 governors don't exist, well, you're staring at them right here. They're really prominent. They love what they own. They love putting their name on stuff. They love putting their name on documents. What you did see from a trend is the regional parliaments, which means these are the actual peoples, but the governors are always separate land. And then governor and regional are 3 dudes that are, what's it called? This looks really eerily familiar to being Putin. So Putin, is Putin showing he has some family control here, like aunts and uncles and cousins? Does he have more cousins, aunts, and uncles? Is this all the Putin family, right? More aunts, uncles, and cousins, all their power. They probably along this mountainous range, right? You can kind of see the mountain into the area. The mountain's right here. You see it? People, they built around the mountain, and then like the flatlands. The mountains are still here. You're wrong. The elevation's high, but you can see the mountain. They built the mountain. They were like, "Oh, give me this mountain." Like, "Oh, give me this mountain." They're like, "We're gonna hit the mountain and the land." See what I'm saying? It's a super easy geography. Oh, what is another governor wanted this whole island for like a defense? They're billionaires and millionaires. He probably has like oil fields out here. He probably has military bases and civilians. And the gold, I bet you, is Putin. Because Putin, it looks just like Putin, right? Really gaudy, you know, the gold. It's definitely Putin. Just like nail in the head. Oh, this is the main body of people. This is the main body of people for the Putin family, probably. Putin was like, I'm gonna have all this land. The people that are a part of my family that work for like the various cousins, aunts, and uncles, you get all of this land. You get all this marshland, wetland, and fertility. And there's probably the right here. I bet you there's a whole like. You know, of course, we see the mountain ranges right here. My bad. But yeah. And right where the mountain ranges are at too is where you see the country kind of borders. So even this is like super rough terrain, but it goes up to a higher plateau. the main body of almost Earth probably is the crust that sits underneath this region right here, and then splits it off. But yeah, you can see consolidation of power. They probably have various highways or fence lines or walls themselves where they can easily blow up or destroy these roads or highways to kind of close themselves off. And they already have the Pacific Ocean as the barrier. If this is it right here, then the vast majority of people live closer to where all the highways, trains, underground trains, above ground trains are going to. They probably go this way. They probably snake this way. Usually if there's any kind of river or mountain range, it's probably where you have like various train tracks too, near the borders or on the borders. Because just you're hugging the geography. So all these people live here, and they probably commute out. They probably venture down. They probably go this way too. They probably get to go to China and to Iran and all that. And this is Iraq. This is Iran. What is this, Kyrgyzstan? That's not Kyrgyzstan. Wait, unless that's still Russia. Oh, maybe that is still Russian. This is just the river. No, because there's a cross right here. But it should break up like this, right? This isn't Russian. Yeah, a lot of these, you see the harsh lines are like their own state governments. Oh, this is Iraq. This is Iran. Yeah, my bad. Wait, this is Iraq. This is Iran. Then I was like, what the hell is this? It's like one of the, let's go to Google Maps. Oh, it's Kazakhstan. My bad, Kazakhstan. It's a big-ass country. Looks like they gave the desert land to Kazakhstan. Oh, Uzbekistan. Yeah, there's Kyrgyzstan. Yeah. Kazakhstan. You can see it. This Russian governor. Right above Kyrgyzstan. Novosibirsk Oblast. The Oblast region. Nice. That's where all the people are at. You can see it too, the carve out. Boom. Right? Yeah. There it is. All this. It's gold, right? Oh, boom. The front line. I think that's Kaliningrad, right? Something like that. Oh, there's this region, right? No. Wait, what the heck? It's right next to Belarus. Oh, my God, right next to Belarus. It's like Putin wants a mountain range or something here. Is it Moscow or is it not Moscow? 1, 2, 3. It's not Moscow. So Putin has like this region, and like this region. And then all his peoples. Massive, you can see the mountain range now. Massive mountains all right here. More massive mountains. Right here, right here, right here. Damn, look at that. The governor took all the best land, and then he gave all the harsh terrain to his peoples. This is like a massive plateau of like, rocks and mountains. Look at this. Here's the governor with all his billionaires and millionaires. Took all the best land, and they gave all the bad land to the people. Man, this whole region. Oh, the Yakutsk? What? Yeah, very military looking, probably. Wherever you want to think about it. Oh, look at the people, man. These are the peoples. The Sakha Republic of Russia. Well, the Sakha Republic will probably become its own government in time. And its own state, its own country in time. Probably this, region. You can already see kind of a schism right here, and there's... No, because all this side belongs to... Yes, right here. So like here, but this is the main group, separate from that governor. Damn, that's crazy. There's this one governor who basically has like all this land. Damn, look at that dude, man. Look at this. So this dude, he took all this, hands down. He took all this. Boom, boom, boom. Probably one family too. It's crazy. It's not even the people because they're over here in this region. But then the governor's like, oh, the governor took all the best fertile land, or he took all the wetlands The resources were heavy. Yeah, this is the governor's like Brask. Can't be that big. Man. So the people are here, and this other governor took. He already marked off this territory? Wait. Oh, this is their own people. The Cry. Krasnyoks, Cry. No, they're their own people. Yeah. Whoa. Maybe each of these 11 governors, maybe Russia is more so like 11 different cultures or countries all banded together. Because this group, they own all of this. Never mind. The governor's over here in this region. The reason I'm not saying it's better, but like you could tell this color green are like deep forest. So Irkutsk, there it is. Very powerful, different kind of politics. Different kind of politics. The major river and waterbed, the whole culture is just different. The governor sits here. And he controls multiple, like 2 states. Governor sits here, people sit here. Or it's more like these 3 already broken up. So it's like 1, 2, 3. Boop. You have, it could be 1, 2, and 3. Like that. And there's another governor down here in this little area. It's like Putin. Because we already know Putin and his people control Moscow. The gold, gaudy colors matches with everything that he does. Are the red areas more governors and they're more fascist-like? Are the red areas more fascist-like with governors? Are the blue areas more pro-democracy forces in Russia? Are the blue areas more the people, pro-democracy? Is the red area more pro-fascist? That would mean like Warhammer 40k, those UK gamers when they created that game are super racist because then they were making fun of all of the chaos in Warhammer 40k are depictions of Russians. So like the UK created this racist game, Warhammer 40k, and all of the chaos are depictions of Russians. And they take all the, I'm pretty sure you could say like descendants of like Greco-Roman Italy and their descendants more so in the UK. And then the racist game Warhammer 40k has an all black like Space Marine unit, but it's like not all black how you think it's all black. It sounds worse every time you hear it. They took the white patrician features of like a British patrician look. Is a certain look. It sounds like the patriarchy, basically, right? It's British patrician look or patriarchy kind of look. And it's still the same features of that, right? And they're like enhanced super soldiers that are like supposed to be taller. Like black people are already taller. So they took the short depiction of what it was to be human. Alright, they're like, man, let's have basically white patrician looking dudes look taller and bigger and be like super soldiers. And they have a whole black unit. It's not black in the sense that you think black. It's literally like blackface. That's how racist Warhammer 40k was. The game was so racist, Warhammer 40k, that literally this whole group called like the Salamanders is literally their Vonderfilm levels of racism. The Vonderfilm level of racism is like comes up from like 1890s, like 1904, like racist blackface in America entertainment all across the East Coast in America, theater, and across Europe, was to have the red lips and like the black charcoal painted onto their white actors that would juke and jive and dive with the racism. So the 140K game that was like created, I think like in the 70s or 80s or whatever, a tabletop game, was already like 80 years past that kind of blackface racism, but everyone knows what that blackface racism is. Because even like in the 70s and 80s, you'll find, various politicians, men and women, getting canceled for basically hiding their racism and their hate. Because they would do blackface when they were like in college or whatever, like a party. But see, here's the difference: is that it's not unique. See what I'm saying? It's not unique. It's the same stupid racism that we see from white people. So no one should be fucking surprised that Warhammer 40K, a game that was designed and built, I think like in the 70s or 80s, and had tabletop in the 90s and grew in its fandom to now, continued on with the blackface, with the racism depiction of the Vonder film style of racism, where it's just blackface on white people's, like literally it's a white soldier with like black charcoal. It's blackface. They're so abrasive in the racism that they had the Chaos Agents were all depictions of like Russians. And like orcs with their big lips are a depiction of black people. Like Warhammer 40K, it's a UK game, published by racist British people. And it's not even them, it's the Italian descendants that are Greco-Roman. Because the actual Irish and Celts and Welsh, the actual natives of the UK, they're depicted as like elves and dark elves. In the continuation of racism, but the racism is still rooted from more so Greco-Roman Italian, their racism in their culture with their art. And the reason I understand is to know this is because I have a degree from a design university. And so white Europeans like to codify their hate in their artwork, so that it stands the test of time, so that we see their acts of evil. Italians, for hundreds of years, thousands of years, would make statues and depict Irish kingdoms and Welsh kingdoms. They would picture them. They called them Gauls, which was a derogatory term. People continued to call Irish people and Welsh kingdoms and Scottish kingdoms, they would call them Gauls, the Gael, which is a derogatory term. It means barbarian. Actually means heathen. It means like those that are below God or something like that. Or like heathen means, first it was Gaul, people translate as barbarian, but it wasn't barbarian, it was actually like heathen. It came from the religious biblical point of view from these soldiers that think they're fighting for God, or their deity or being in Italy as the soldiers went to war. It's just not a derogatory term. And so, yeah, because it's a different kind of take on, and you know what they did to their Greco-Roman Italian descendants from Warhammer 40K? They turned them into the Astartes. So they took the very military language that the Roman imperials would use, and they used the word imperium, and I think it's imperium and imperial, because it just means basically like dictator, controlled rule is imperator for the imperium. All those under imperial rule. And imperial rule means empirical. It means there's only one way to do it. Fascist rule. And so, throughout their hate over the hundreds and hundreds of years, they codified it with their artwork in paintings and in stone structure. They would depict Irish, Welsh, Scottish kingdoms as naked, fanatical barbarians in stone structure, and they would have their short Italian Greco people in person. They try to make the statues for them to be taller, and they're really short. Like they thought that the 6'8" and 7 foot kind of Irish, Welsh, and Scots were giants. They weren't. They were just 6'5" and 6'3" women, and 6'8", 7' men. And the Italians were like 5 feet and 5'4". So Italian women were like 5 feet, and Italian men were like 5'4". So they're running around, and then when they see Nordic people, you know, or even you see the Welsh kingdoms and the Scottish kingdoms and the Irish kingdoms, they're people in persons. They're women and men are just in the 6 feet. They're just taller. I thought they were giants. They weren't giants. And then for 140K or any of the Games Workshop stuff, you'll see they keep the racism today. You're going to see the blackface in the Salamander soldiers. You're going to see the sexism and the racism in how they design their units. Yeah. Yeah. It's like a whole bunch of white dudes got together and created a game. They wanted everything to have be overly sexualized and overly masculine. But that the codifier or the thing is the language of the colonizer always comes through. It's a signature of their racism and their hate. By making everything about the Space Marines, they look like Greco-Roman Italians, but like in space is like souped up on steroids, like gaudy, toxic masculinity, and all the female characters of various races or aliens are like overly sexualized, and they all have their own dictators. It's just continuation of fascism, referencing the Roman fascist empire, their imperial rule, and the continuation of a lot of NATO governments you see are, well, they're not true democracies. Like we know Hungary's not a democracy. They were already in Europe and the EU, already on probation for the past like 5 years. So Hungary has been already on probation because they were failing to hold up to their stand. Oh, I bet, yeah. So with Russia, they freed the Russian president from his prison in Siberia. Ukraine, where you at, Ukraine? Right here. Ukraine made contact with the other regions that are already consolidating their power, you know, and really all you're convincing and telling these two other massive regions, they're probably split into like four or 6 different countries. Basically, like there's no point to fight for Putin because you've already seen him give up before, so he would give up on you. Oh, you have to, for just propaganda, you just have to preach. Ukraine will get right on this. Ukraine just preach, hey, look, like Putin gave up on his own capital city. He got a helicopter and flew away. He gave up on those people. That means he would give up on. He won't fight. If he's given up on his Moscow people and his capital, he got in a helicopter and flew away. Right? He gave up on his main base. And he would give up easily. Putin wouldn't fight for any of these other regions. So Ukraine should just shoot with the propaganda and just spread the propaganda in terms of like, well, you get the word out basically like, hey, look, like he's already fled before. He ain't going to defend your other regions. So there's no reason for you to fight and die for Putin. You can now basically consolidate your power and start forming your own countries. Like this is a whole other country. This is a whole other country. This is a whole other country. Another country. Another country. Another country right here. There's already like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Already 6 right here. You split Russia in half. Boom. And then you have to worry about like the weight and the burden of like this region. Like this whole region can now just worry about their region. This whole region can now worry about their region. This region can worry about their region. And you have to worry about like the taxes and the drain because I guarantee all these other regions are sending money, resources, supplies to this major section that has all these other governors all consolidating power too. Oh, the governors. Boom, 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 boom. What is so obvious from an intel standpoint that like anyone with like a 6th grade reading level can understand? What did they all do? All these governors made sure there was no way for their governors to connect. See, already you could tell they don't like each other. Look at these governors. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? There's 7, 3 here, 4 here. And they just, each different governor made sure that no part of their land is touching another governor's land. Like a chess match. But what they did was they just surrounded themselves with other millionaires. They have like probably like multiple fortresses. Or maybe they're dumb and they only have one. They have their own probably personal military and like mercenaries and like private whatever. And they made sure that there's a gap where their land isn't touching anyone else's land. Because they don't like each other. And this gold land's probably Putin, but they'll happily be adjacent to Putin because look at this dude right here. Bro, I already know what he's going to do. I can have a 3rd grader who plays a basic tabletop game, tell me what's about to happen right here. It's a classic pinching maneuver. So Putin's like, either him and his family have this area, but like whoever this governor is like just making ready to just look. He's already had this. You see this line, how it matches up with this part right here. He's already probably has like forces here, all around to just kind of just take this region from Putin. That's super simple. I'll democratize, say, politics for you really quick. Look at that. See how this line matches the person up like here? Probably his forces here, in position to just take this whole land. Mountain range, resources, lakes, and all that cities away from Putin's family. So like I said, Ukraine's already in a perfect position, checkmate. And for Moscow, his loyalty is like, hey, look, I have family members in land here. Putin will never in a million years ever chill here because it's so close to NATO. Oh, this is Belarus. So close to NATO. One, Putin has like, Belarus is like a scapegoat, like a punching bag. It literally looks like a punching bag. It looks like Poland and like all the other NATO countries are just like ready to just like punch Belarus. You know what I mean? So Putin's already probably given up on Belarus. And then Putin's like, I need a governor. I'll pay a lot of money. He probably is to like sit here. And he probably told them like, hey, keep a watch on them. Yeah, but really he just wants them to be the barrier. Probably two different governors or one. I see a little river or something like that. It could be two governors or one. Basically he's paying a lot of money to be on the front lines. And they could be proud as like, hey, we're sitting on the front line. And then Putin's like, I want my family to be here too. Because then this guy was like, your family better fight, the front lines too or something like that. So then Putin probably has like his cousins or something here, aunts and uncles. And also for Putin, he currently has Ukraine, kind of Belarus as a buffer, probably two more regional governors, his cousins, as like roadblocks, or fodder, and some other regional governments, probably a really hard like mountain impasse right here or something like that. It's probably a little more flat land, right? Usually. Use some more flat land. You just kind of cut right through. Everything's systematic. Always to the heart, to the heart, to the heart. Everything's like systematic. Well, I think the region's like up here or something like that, more towards the coastline. Because it started to descend. Mountain range, plateaus, a little more flatter. Stuff like that. This is a higher elevation, mountains. Plateau, here. I think they did this wrong. They put the capital. I think the capitals are here or here. And like Frankfurt's in the middle. And I always thought it was weird on a map. I was like, Frankfurt is like, should be the capital. But like my German teacher back in high school was like, you sprechen the Deutsch? But, Berlin's the capital for some weird reason. But I was like, geographically speaking, like, Berlin doesn't make any sense. Why is the capital? So really, like, I bet all the old money is in Frankfurt. All the new money is in Berlin. So for Putin, yeah, Ukraine's in a checkmate position. All I gotta do is split their 750,000 troops, go 300,000 to the capital, and 300,000. Oh damn! Look at that. So they got back. Oh my bad. This isn't the war. They lost. They lost like a third of their. It wasn't a third of their country. 25%. I think 25% of the country is occupied by Russians or something like that. Or Ukraine still has to liberate parts of the country, but they've retaken back a ton of land. They could surge forward, with 300,000 troops. Because right now they can easily maintain the line. They go out for a few weeks, a few months, and they're just gonna hold the line. Different trench lines. And then come out of service, come out of temporary duty, really quickly. They can go out for 30 days or 90 days. Personnel could hold their position and then come back home. Makes everything much more reasonable from a war standpoint. You're trying to liberate your land, but you don't want to tire out your people, but you need a ready force to defend all these trench lines. So individuals can go out for 30 days and you get relief, and that's nice. If you had a 12-month period, right? Let's say you only had to serve 30 days or 2 months or 3 months on the line, then helps alleviate other people. It's like the men and women that are like, hey, I'm not going to just do 30 days. Let me, I'll do 60 days, 90 days. They could hopefully relieve other people that don't want to be at the line. But you could easily take. Then again, Yeah, for Zelensky, it's probably he doesn't want to see any more of his people die. He's probably trying to be as diplomatic as he can. He's like, let me liberate my land. But Zelensky is not the kind of guy that would. He would never probably bolster his forces, take half his forces, and then take over Moscow. Because he's probably thinking they speak a different language. They speak Russian. They speak Ukrainian. He's probably thinking the Zelensky government's probably thinking, how are we going to convince these other fascist warlords that are like would be like surrounding them? See what I'm saying? So yeah. Each one of these governors has basically like their own country. See these giant red areas? This is Ukraine. This is a whole country. This is just a governor, basically running a whole country. This governor over here is running a country that's bigger than that's in an area larger than Germany. Probably not by population, but like you know what I mean. Like it's a big ass region. This is bigger than Germany. This is bigger than Germany. This is bigger than Germany. There are other, inner politics occurring. But yeah. Oh, let's get to the video.
But he wasn't running for office. He was.
Oh, that's what QuarterJade said.
I know, 5 stacking, especially on a weekday, and yeah, at 1 a.m. But like, there's gotta be like one team out there.
Jade's waiting 10 minutes before match, but I don't think she realizes that this is normal.
Love for breach, huh?
As that was pretty funny. As
I'm curious how.
that's some good sprays.
I feel like Sky took over the moment for Silva. Like Silva was in every game, and now Sky's in every game. And I wonder if this is a good spray. I wonder if the changes will encourage like breach to come more. But I just think it's so like they would have to have breach flash give info or something. Like
That's really funny. I think we both said they had some good sprays at the same time. Like I typed it and she said it. That was pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
Everyone has info, but breach does not. And what other initiators are there? I have to look. My memory is ass. Oh, Gecko. Well, everyone has info. Gecko has info. Fade has info. Is breach the only one that doesn't have info? What the hell? I'm surprised. Oh my god, they're so cute.
Green hair is popping. Green is my favorite color. That might be my main. If I played Valorant, that might be my main. Yeah.
Because is rather large. Yeah, camera's fun.
What is Valorant Agent?
It wasn't. I'd be looking away, and everyone was like, I think it's weird you're looking away from
Oh, and he's utility too. And I'm pretty good with utilities. Is he in a bad rating? A day or two is fine. What is this?
1 a.m. on a Thursday.
How much I would trust them? A day or two.
Random 5 stacks bound to be playing, right?
Oh, these two are like honorable. Pro caretakers. Max in 2 hours. Oh, toxic. No. Oh, these two are bad guys. 25-meter radius from my child. Oh shit, that's really funny. That's copy. That's really funny. No, I just need to see the agents. Gecko.
You play the word bomb game?
He uses utility, but his hair is more like yellow. It's not green. Harbor. Phoenix. Damn, people saying Phoenix is toxic. I don't think Phoenix is toxic. Huh? Did she say aim and shoot? Oh. It's more than that.
I feel like these sprays are like almost there. And then
It's alright, yeah.
there's always like one thing I don't like about them. I'm like, oh man, I wish I was picky.
I'm a design graduate, so I could probably break down why some... I could explain and break down why some art pieces like work and others don't, from a design standpoint.
Really good. Don't get me wrong. Some are very, very good.
That one's really good. Mainly because of everything. There was a rule of 3 in this plant right here. There was a rule of 3. You had
I think
entry, middle, top.
sprays
It created a great diamond effect.
is-
The contrast works. The reason this works is because
Like, imagine you clutch around and that you spray that on the ground. Like, it's just so good.
is Gecko naked in this spray? What is going on here? What is going on here? What the heck is going
Technically
Good guy.
Wednesday, Thursday morning. Any minute now. Well, I'm gonna play Sudoku then.
Oh, she's waiting 13 minutes for a match? Yeah, it's because
49.
the higher rank she goes,
We're getting 6K.
the harder it is to,
I think it has to be like the high serves. The highest I got is 42. So, like, when he kicks the ball, there's one. Like, I have like lineups. Like, it goes above the palm tree. And like that one is like, I think that's the god.
Wait, Sudoku? Okay, basically Sudoku is you are trying to, every row has to be 1 to 9 like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Every square has 1 to 9. And every column, every row, and every square. That's it. Hi, Cheesy Potato, welcome in. So it's just a puzzle of trying to find 1 to 9. That's it. Literally. I wish this could be, oh, I was gonna say, god damn, I wish this could be bigger. It is really easy. I don't know where we are though. 1 and 2 and
This game's pissing me off.
Yeah, this is not good before Valo.
Like, what's that getting tilted?
1, 2, and 3.
oh, wait,
And 3 has to
where's
be
the right
2,
games? There it is.
4,
Sorry, it's freaking,
5 and 6.
I always do,
1,
1, 7, 3, 1, 1, 5. Come on.
I'm playing Sudoku.
Downloading Valorant. Oh, but what they're running into is as you go up in higher ranks, the longer the queue times because you've reached. They're so good at their skill. The game is finding it harder and harder to give them a proper match. It happens in all games. Like if you play chess at the highest level, you're gonna have to wait extremely long once you're like in the higher echelon of the ranks because there's just no opponents. Same thing in League of Legends. Same thing in Valorant. Once you get to the Apex tiers, if they're already in the Apex tiers, like I don't know what Jody's rank is right now, but I've seen her pop off, so I imagine she's high rank. But that what's it called? Yeah, just the times increases, and they increase by so much that it could be 30 minutes to get to a match. It'd be 30 minutes to get to a match because they're so high up. Now, if she just wants to play, she'll probably go solo, and so that's kind of usually what happens naturally. Even for League of Legends, you can't duo past Masters. So the Apex tiers are Masters, Grandmasters, and Challenger, and then you have to go solo. But like in Valorant, I'm pretty sure you could just always queue 5-person, and it keeps it within the rank stack or something like that. Like it's not different, I don't think. But in League of Legends, they separated it. But that was so weird. You know, I think League of Legends, from a video game standpoint, they should remove the flex and just have rank queue. You know what I mean? Like I don't. You know what I mean? You feel me? Like they should just have, because they're basically 2 separate ranks, but it doesn't make any sense. That means you just split your server in half. Essentially, you have the rank flex and you have like regular ranked. But that should never exist. You should just have people can queue up like 1 person, 2 person, 3 person, 4 person, 5 person. Like it shouldn't even matter. See what I'm saying? Because as the ranks go higher, your diamond players that are groups of 2 and 3 should be able to take on another 2 and 3 group. Or your groups that are, 2, 2, and 1, 2, 2, and 1 will get matched up with other 2, 2, 1s. Or maybe there's 1, 1, 1, 2. Where it's always 3 solo players and 2 people together. You see what I'm saying? Like if you really want to, and they already do that kind of right now too already, right? But guess what? They could easily do 3 and 2s. They could easily just have one, because there's 2 ranks right now. There's rank flex and rank for league. It doesn't make any sense. You literally split your server in half. You'd have, if 5-man stacks are playing, then just mass up with other 2s and 3s, or have like a 3 and like 1-1. And in terms of like 3 people are together stacked, and then there's like 1-1 individual. Like, it shouldn't even matter. Do you know what I'm saying? The Pinglish is good enough now at the higher elos for League of Legends that every other pro is struggling to climb. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some pros that are, challenging right now for League of Legends, but most of the pros for LCS are not challenging. They have their ranks at Masters and GM. So really, the requirement should be, I mean, don't get me wrong, you want your pros to be, top 300 challenger, but really, like, your pros minimum should be like GM. See what I'm saying? So GM becomes like the baseline. You see what I'm saying? That's what people should really be shooting for. And challengers now for League, because the population server is so massive that it's, exclusive to like the elite, essentially. And don't worry about it. But just, you should be proud of like hitting GM. Because GM is like the baseline for the pros are sitting. And that's basically, you can say, okay, you beat League of Legends when you hit Grandmaster. And then you can really say you beat League of Legends when you hit Grandmaster and like you finish a year as GM. You finish the rank as GM. Then you're like, okay. So same thing in Valorant. It's probably occurring like what happens in League of Legends, where, you could fix your game by just combining just squeezing it together and just combining all of it. So you get rid of rank flex, get rid of the separates kind of deals, and just have everything mesh as one rank for League of Legends on the server. Because like I said, trust me, like there's the Pinglish is perfect. The Pinglish, whenever you use the pings, is perfect. You can communicate and get stuff across. Because there's already a pervasive culture where we talk about mute all and just use your pings. You can like get rid of the chat. You can ignore chat and just use the pings. And your teammates will tell you like where they're moving, where they're attacking. Hey, I'm moving here, I'm going here, wards here. You already see all that. And it just makes everything easier. So it already exists. But for Valorant, we already know the queue times are going to be super long because the player base is nowhere near as big as League of Legends. Valorant, I think Valorant has a decent amount of people, but it doesn't have as much as League of Legends. League of Legends is just now surpassed, pretty much becoming like the number one video game in the world after like 185 million accounts, whatever. And the second place behind is Minecraft. But truth be told, they're probably both even, and we'll really never know because I bet Minecraft people are making new accounts and League of Legends people keep making new accounts. But population of the world keeps increasing, which also both of those games are going to increase. So from a game dev standpoint, you're supposed to kind of arc out and think in increments of like 1 year, 2 year, 3 year is your window. Where you really have to start game planning for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years and hitting those marks. Because population keeps increasing and your game is naturally going to increase. People talk about certain games kind of fall off. Well, Valorant fits this niche where it's like the most difficult tactical shooter. A whole bunch of CSGO pros talked about they fall back to CSGO because it's easier. All they have to do is click heads and they throw a grenade. But in Valorant, the stakes get upped in ante. They go to a higher echelon. They get harder. You're threading the needle. You be cleaner with everything you do because now it's not only are they shooting, but there's like magical and mystical weapons and guns doing shit that's not normal, and you have spells. So there's a whole bunch of variables and vectors and space you're fighting for that you didn't even think conceivable because now there's like a beam shooting down from the sky or like a magical wall appearing, taking over the map, or like poison clouds or a flame wall that a dude can control. All those variables are much harder versus CT is just clicking heads, throwing a grenade. But Valorant is immensely, like probably 3 times harder. So with Valorant, I think they could definitely maybe build a system where there is better AI. People are going to be like, what? So with AI in the future, I think people will be okay with it. I know it might piss people off right now, but it's because they're just haven't adapted to the idea. You're going to have like really advanced AI FPS bots that are going to be needed to kind of just check the human. It's like stat check humans throughout the ranks. You know what I mean? I think it'd be much more efficient, which is kind of messed up, but like it'll make people feel good. People are like, this is how you satisfy the the game sense for the game dev from everybody that's entry level bronze to higher. You can design like bronze bots and just make them more efficient for the FPS sense, and that'll really draw people in. Because then now your 5 friends can go up against 5 bronze bots and like get better at the FPS level, like practice with their friends, and it'd be fun, and it fills that niche. And then when you're gold, you should build for Valorant, for Riot Games, where often you have gold level bots that are FPS, and then gold players can like get together with their friends and like practice really quick, kind of warm up. But it's like 5-on-5, where it's 5 gold bots versus 5 of your friends, and it'll really hit that spot for Valorant and level up the game to another level. And you can practice and get better. And now, hey, give me 3 diamond bots, let me practice against them. And 3 diamond FPS bots are in the game, and you're just like, you know, playing Valorant and you're practicing. That'll really up Valorant from Riot Games and dev standpoint to another level. And then start creating like those, whatever the upper echelon for Valorant ranks are, those AI bots will make the game even more, because then that's what people want. They just want good practice. You know what I mean? And it'll help level up your game from a game dev standpoint and from like a playing standpoint, and really launch Valorant into popularity, you know, and just kind of makes everything easier. Man, imagine 3 of your friends can go 3-on-3 versus like silver bots and just kind of practice really quick. And then imagine, because that's what they're missing. You know, I'm watching QuarterJade and a friend sit here for like 20 minutes and not in a match, but I bet if they had a downtime, right? But they had a downtime where it was like them versus 5 other like, I don't know, Radiant bots or something like that, right? They would be having so much fucking fun while they're waiting for a real match. Or check this out, make that shit count. Like let's say this terminus happens, right? Let's say 10 minutes pass by, you don't get into a game, you get slotted to where like you get like a mirror match of a bot that's supposed to be like equal to your skill and like clones you, like Star Wars or something. There's a clone version of you, right? Mm-hmm. And then when you as 5 friends beat the AI bots that are mirror matches to your MMR set, you gain LP. That'll really vaunt and push Valorant and Riot Games like higher in terms of like a game dev standpoint, making the game better. And how you do that is with AI. And so just just stuff like that. Make the video game better, funner, keeps people active, they can practice, get better. You know, stuff like that. Yeah. At 1:18 in the morning, talking game dev, game design. But yeah, that's what they're missing. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Just give us time. If Riot Games doesn't do it, which they probably will, give them 2 or 3 years, because Riot Games would send me for League of Legends. They've already used like a whole bunch of my ideas from 2020, 2021, 2022. 3 times a year, 4 times a year, they would send me surveys